Hey, welcome back, friends. So today I've got a cool video for you. We're going to be looking at Wingnut Wings. Now, a lot of you, including me, have spent a lot of your maybe tax refunds, splurge on your allowance for like half the year or whatever, but put in a lot of money into Wingnut Wings when they're closing down. And you may have like 10, 12 kits, but none of them are opened. So I'm going to show you how you can take your Wingnut Wings kit, build it into something that you can be very proud of, and it's not as scary as you guys think, okay? All the rigging that goes into it, we'll be talking about that, and then some of like the wood panels. So I think those are the biggest bits of contention and scary anxiety that comes into of like, I'm not gonna approach that. But don't worry. It's not as hard as it sounds. You don't have to get into some expensive gas patch stuff. There's a lot of different ways you can make it very easily and affordably. So let's get started. Now the first thing to look at is what kind of turnbuckle, what kind of attachment point did they use on that specific aircraft? Here is a ton of different photos of a bunch of different ways that they use attachments or turnbuckles to kind of tighten it down. So definitely check your references. One option is to just buy this. Go over to Gas Patch Models and they've got a bunch of different variety to match different aircraft. Now keep in mind they do have different scales, and it's a whole nother debate whether you should go 148 or 132 to be more accurate. Now I just know I'm going to get somebody that's going to say, whoa, Cameron, those are just way too oversized. Don't worry. This is just part of the demonstration process of how we're going to achieve this. First, I'm just grabbing some large oversized solder, but we're going to use some smaller wire here in a sec and just twist it around a loop. Now for the challenging bit. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap some thread through the tube around the turnbuckle and then right back through the tube again. Once again, oversized. I think that's a straw that I grabbed from my drink or something. Way oversized. But you can see the process that we're trying to do. Once it's through, you pull it through, and then we're going to hit it with a little bit of glue to keep it in place. Now, this is a newer method that I've been playing around with. Instead of having to play with that tube and twist and reinsert and do all these fiddly bits, all you got to do is just twist it around, and you're going to use UV glue to hold it together. Now, I kind of like to twist the wire around itself. Gives it a little bit more structure. And then just tap it with a little bit of UV glue, and then we're going to use the UV light, hold it in place. And you can even use the UV glue to build up more layers if you want it to be more thick, and looks pretty convincing. Now, right now, it's just a weird clear glob. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit it with some silver paint. And definitely going to be a better size than that weird straw that's grossly oversized. But definitely looks pretty good. Did I mention oversized? Yeah, oversized. Now to make some eyelets out of some household materials. We got some different cords going around. This is going to be an Ethernet cord. Just rip the thing apart and strip all the wires into it, and they make really good scale eyelets. So once again, I'm just twisting it around that to give it the right shape for our attachment point. And then we'll insert that into a hole that we previously drilled. And there you go, pretty convincing look. From here, you may need to trim it to size, but you're just going to insert it into the hole that we made on the kit itself for the attachment point and glue it in place. So now, what do you want to use for tubing? Kind of depends. Some of that insulation that we just used from the wires can be really good, but otherwise I got this from the automotive guys. Some of these rubber tubing can work really well. Now, some of you are going to say, wow, that is just still too oversized, that is big. But there's a double-edged sword that you always have with any of these. You could have smaller tubing, but then it's going to be a bit more of a pain trying to loop everything through. So you got to balance accuracy with your sanity in the end. As you can see, even with that size of tubing and zoomed in, I'm having some troubles. So this is also the good view of it. You should see the other edits. Once it's through, we're just going to kind of tighten it in place and lock it in place with some glue. So now for my new favorite method. So once again, loop it through the eyelet, and you can twist it around or keep it straight, whichever way you want to do it. We're gonna just tap it with a little bit of UV glue and cure it in place. And then if you want to make it a little bit thicker, you can build up the layers and you're ready to go. And once it's in place, you can just trim off the excess. I actually like the sprue nippers to be able to do that, get a really close cut. And once again, you can just paint that turnbuckle, whatever color you're trying to look at, if it's silver, black, maybe something a little bit rusty like I showed my reference photos. And then you can also color the eyelet as well. Not a bad result. Keep in mind, this is very, very well zoomed in, so it's gonna look a little oversized. Now to start off, I just am using a layer of LP16 wooden deck tan. Then I'm using some brown artist oil, dap them onto some cardboard, and we're gonna do some streaking. From here, we're just gonna apply a healthy layer of oil over that surface. Just make sure you get it everywhere. From here, we're just gonna grab Scotch-Brite pad and we're just gonna kind of scrape it across. We're gonna try to create just those different grain lines that you see in wood. Just keep in mind a little bit of what scale you're going on. If it's gonna be 32 scale, if it's gonna be 48, then that's gonna affect how close they are. And just move it around until it looks the way that you want it to. Other people have also used different things like sponges and all that, but I kind of like the Scotch pad where it just very much creates those scratches along there. The good thing with oils is you can move it around, do as much as you want, nothing's permanent. If you don't like what it looks like, just completely wipe it down, completely starting fresh. To just kind of seal it in and create the final effect, we're going to use clear orange. But you can use clear yellow. It just kind of depends on what kind of, I guess, shellac you want on the final varnish, you could say, of the wood. And so you can play with some different types of combinations from there. When it comes down to just how much to lay on, it just kind of depends on what effect you want. For this, I'm putting on a little bit more heavy because I kind of want to have that different varnish that is kind of that old, I don't know, mahogany. I don't know enough about wood, but that is the color that I have in my head that I'm looking for. So, and there you go. Pretty realistic effect. Hopefully you like my wood. Thanks for watching and sticking to the end. Here's some photos of my SE5 from Wingnut Wings that I completed last year. Hopefully it inspires you to open up that box and get started on those Wingnut Wing kits. They're amazing.
Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.